Hey everybody, Stan here. Welcome back to the Den. Today we're cracking open the History Vault for December 11th and 12th. 2 days filled with history changing inventions, financial fiascos, and children's humanitarian breakthroughs, and even a legendary performance on the football field. But before we get into that, there's a couple of changes coming to the Den. I'm going to start broadcasting this about 3 times a week. That way I can put in more to the show, 2 days worth of stuff. Yes, the last show I had put in at the end where you guys can actually get involved and send in your own family histories and lores and stories about your town. You can send those to dravinsden@gmail.com. That's DRAVINSDEN@gmail.com. And I can give you credit, put your name on the air, put your hometown, wherever it happened. That's entirely up to you. Now, also, I would like to give a shout out to Lori Lee Edwards Kaufman. She's doing something great for the holidays. She's putting together some stuff for a mama with a family of three teens. Sorry, tripped over those words. But she had already found a Christmas tree for them, and now she's raising $300 or gift cards. And she did some stockings for them. So she's put in some hard work and looking for a little help. So if you guys can spare a little for the holiday season for three teens, you can Cash App her at LTLBIT26. You can Venmo at LORILEEDWARDS, or you can Zelle at 540-841-2539. So let's spread some of the holiday cheer and help those who just need a hand up. All right, let's get into history. So grab your W's energy drink and settle in, and let's take a walk through time together. Hit it! On December 11th, 1946, the United Nations established UNICEF to aid children affected by the devastation of World War II. It quickly grew from a temporary relief operation into one of the largest global humanitarian organizations, serving children in over 190 countries. An odd fact, UNICEF was supposed to be dissolved after a few years. Instead, it became permanent because every vote to close it was met with, well, the world's still on fire, and it still burns today. But hey, as Billy Joel once said, we didn't start the fire. And next up, Bernie Madoff is arrested. Yep, we're going to go back to 2008 on December 11th. And he was arrested for the biggest Ponzi scheme in U.S. history, an estimated 64.8 billion. That's billion in fraud. Good grief, that's a lot of hamburgers. So, an odd twist to that story is that a handful of hedge fund managers made money actually on betting against Madoff, assuming he'd eventually crash. Well, they had a magic 8 ball. But even they didn't expect the scale of the wreckage. It remains one of the most shocking financial collapses in modern history. And we got some weather history, actually, and I remember this, as it was back in the year of our Lord, 1992. Yes, in 1992, we had a heck of a nor'easter. Delivered one of the most destructive nor'easters of the decade, as a matter of fact, producing heavy snow, massive waves, and tens of millions in damage. Meteorologists still study it for how quickly it intensified. And a side note, weather historians call storms like this grumpy nor'easters, which sounds like your uncle refusing to shovel the driveway. All right, and for sports fans in Chicago, in 1949, Chicago witnessed one of the most jaw dropping performances in NFL history. Johnny Lujack, quarterback for the Chicago Bears, threw for 468 yards and 6 touchdowns against the Chicago Cardinals. It was, for context, this was an era when QBs were thrilled to break 150 yards. A little fun fact, players back then wore shoulder pads about as thick as couch cushions and threw footballs shaped like pumpkins. Yet Jack Lujack dropped a stat line that would impress modern quarterbacks. Chicago still calls it one of the greatest aerial shows in team history. Now, for a quick break, before we jump into December 12th, a quick word about something I'm incredibly excited about. If you've ever wondered what happened in the exact spot you're standing, that's what Lore Trail does. It turns your surroundings into an interactive story map, revealing battles, events, local legends, and forgotten tales tied to the very ground under your feet. Support the Lore Trail Kickstarter and help bring history back to life one step at a time. I really need your guys' help on this. I talked to a development company, and boy, that's a lot of zeros. So anything that you can help me out with there with the funding of getting this thing up and running, I've already got like a little model of it that I did myself. I did a little bit of coding, which I had to learn how to do that just to learn how to do the other thing. But yeah, so I got that little model. It does work. It just needs to be expanded, and we're going to start small, start Virginia, and then we're going to branch out nationwide, and then hopefully we go worldwide. Later down the road, we'll get some AR involved. Man, it'll be a big thing for universities and for families, to do something together on those long road trips to see Grandma at Christmas. All right, December 12th, the first transatlantic radio signal was in 1901. Oh, wow. I'm just going to call him Mr. Marconi because I cannot pronounce that first name. Let's see. Guglielmo. All right. You pronounce it. Mr. Marconi successfully received the first transatlantic radio transmission, the Morse code letter S, sent across the ocean. This shattered the belief that Earth's curvature made long-range wireless communication impossible. A wild detail, to get the signal to work, his team flew enormous kites holding antenna wires in the air. Yeah, the first wireless success relied on 1900s kite technology. You got to respect the classics. I mean, hey, it worked for Ben Franklin, right? Pennsylvania. On this day, Pennsylvania became the second state to ratify the U.S. Constitution, solidifying early support for the new federal government. As one of the most diverse colonies, religiously, ethnically, and politically, their vote carried weight. Fun aside, the debate went on for hours, and eyewitnesses said it got so heated that at one point, delegates yelled over each other like a badly moderated YouTube comment section. Yeah, we've seen those explode, Facebook and oh man, comment section on a Facebook post, man, kind of. I love when someone drops that picture of Captain Jack Sparrow running down the beach from all the natives, just because somebody gave their opinion. All right, so let's roll over to golf. Yeah, December 12th also celebrates inventor George Franklin Grant, an African-American dentist who patented one of the earliest golf tee designs in 1899. He made many of them by hand and gave them away, meaning he helped change golf forever while barely making a penny from it. Odd fact, Grant's design wasn't widely adopted until 30 years after his death. Talk about being ahead of your time. And a couple more odd December 12 notes. In 2000, the U.S. Supreme Court ended the Florida recount in Bush versus Gore, effectively deciding the presidential election. Yeah, I remember that too. 2015, nearly 200 nations signed the Paris Climate Accord. And in 2010, the Metrodome roof collapsed under heavy snow, a reminder that even stadiums can't handle Midwest storms. All right, so another break here. If history ever leaves your brain feeling like a dial-up modem trying to load a video, hit it with W Energy Drink. No crash, no jitters, clean ingredients, and the perfect companion for late-night research or early morning survival. Yeah, I know we can all use some of that. Grab a Dubby, stay awake, stay curious. And if you go over to dubby.gg, that's dubby.gg, you'll find a little promo code section. You drop in Dravin's Den and you'll get 10% off your order. Before we wrap things up today, I want your stories. Got a weird, funny, or powerful family story? Something your grandparent told you that sounded like a tall tale? A strange tradition your family swears by? send it to dravinsden@gmail.com. If I share it on the show, I'll shout you out. Name, town, whatever you want. Let's build a little archive of stories that never make the textbooks but reveal who we are. December 11 and 12 gives us a taste of how wonderfully unpredictable history can be. From groundbreaking radio waves to jaw-dropping football games, and from global humanitarian missions to winter storms with attitudes. Thanks for hanging out the den. Now stay curious, take care of one another. I'll see you next time.